Resident Evil.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. It has been about a month or two since our last show, so this is a post Resident Evil 7 show. And I'm here with Richard again.
Hello guys.
And we're not here to talk about RE7, the full length of the show. We've talked about it a lot, but we'll touch on some things about it. Everybody saw my review. If you haven't, it's up there in a nice constructed format. But I'll touch on the DLC a little bit, something that Richard doesn't give a shit about, but for some reason I end up wanting to spend money on this game. This gutless game they call Resident Evil 7. No, I'm kidding. So we have a lot to talk about, though, because there's a lot of news that has come out about Resident Evil, so that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. Don't know how long it's going to be, but we're going to just cover everything and have a nice casual chat for you fans out there that love listening to this. But you can also download this episode free on Mediafire. You can go click that link and download the free MP3 so you can listen to this on the go. Listen to it while you're at the gym. Listen to it while you're at work. Listen to it while you play Resident Evil. Do whatever the hell you want. But you can also give our Facebook page a like, which is Let's Talk Resident Evil on Facebook. The link's down below, so what the hell are you doing? Give it a like, join the community, and have some fun, have some conversations with some fellow fans, and join the community. And so, yeah, here we are. This is the post-Resident Evil 7 show, and we've played it. Richard's beaten it a few times. I've beaten it a few times. So, Richard, I've already played it. I've talked about it. I've talked people's ears off about it. Now, fans have heard your predictions of what you think it's going to be. You're positive about it. You're saying that it's going to be a good game, but so they haven't heard your opinion post the release, post beating it a few times, all that shit. All of it has sunk in. It's been out for almost 2 months at this point. What are your overall thoughts on the game, and maybe just summing it up for people that need to hear your opinion, because you didn't do a review or anything like that? So
No, my overall thoughts on this game are, it's great. It's a great survival horror game. If you like Resident Evil, if you like the way the classic game's played, go and pick this game up, because this game is very much, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a remake of Resident Evil 1. It feels very similar to that. There's, some of the locations are similar. The gameplay is similar. The perspective is different. It's first person, but it still plays like a classic Resident Evil game. Don't listen to those people saying that it's not Resident Evil because it's first person. Don't listen to them. If you feel like if you haven't played the game yet and you feel like playing it and you feel like you might enjoy it, go and pick it up. It's a great game. If you're not a Resident Evil fan and you're just a fan of horror in general, it's a great horror game. It calls back to some of the great horror movies, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or any Romero zombie movie or whatever. So yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, now it's like, I think you can even pick it up for like $40. So at this point, you have no excuse. The game isn't complete. Like, it's not. Like, they, and I get it. Like, you got to sell the shit, but I guess we'll get into that as well. How do you feel about the DLC? The whole piecing the story together and releasing it in bits, so you have to spend money.
I don't know anything about the DLC.
Okay, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Let me tell you the shit show. Okay? So, I played DLC, I streamed it, it was fun, whatever. But that's not the point.
Okay.
That's not the point, Richard. The point that I'm trying to make is the fact that I spend $100 and something on this. I'm not even going to say the amount because I don't even remember. Okay?
Imagine the amount of Blu-rays.
Imagine the Blu-rays. Imagine the amount of McDonald's hamburgers. No, I'm kidding. Just imagine all the other shit I could have gotten. But, okay, so I get the collector's edition. I get this shit. Doesn't come with a season pass. Now, keep in mind there's already a deluxe edition. But on top of my experience with getting the collector's edition late, because Capcom doesn't send them out, you know, there's... And, you know, they're putting Xbox One editions in PS4 cases. I mean, this was a mess. So, luckily, I was able to get one, but it doesn't come with a season pass at all. Mm-hmm. So, they expect me to spend $30 on a season pass, separate from the $100, and it was over $150. Separate from that money, I have to buy either the DLC individually or buy the season pass. So the both banned footage DLCs cost about, the first one cost $10, the second one cost $15, and then the next one's supposed to be free. I don't even know if there's going to be any more after that. I don't fucking know. There's probably going to be I'm confirming this now because I know it's going to happen. They're going to release the complete edition later this year. I'd say like fall or winter, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I get it. I understand it. I get it. Mm-hmm. But the fact that like this DLC was already released like within weeks after the game is pretty much saying that it was already done. Why couldn't you just put in a fucking game? I don't understand this. And like, you know, and I keep bashing it when I stream. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta pay for this on disc DLC, or I gotta pay for that. But it's true. Okay, so let me take you through this. The first DLC that we'll talk about, because everybody's heard us talk about the fucking game, okay? The gameplay and everything, and all you guys have heard me talk about that. The DLC doesn't stray from what I talked about in my review. If you haven't listened to my review, you go watch it, but it doesn't stray from it. It's the same kind of gameplay. It fills in the blanks. So the first banned footage DLC, when that was released, that was a week after its initial release. 1 week, okay? We're not talking about months. We're not talking about half a year, weeks. It was already done, but they wanted to sell it and make more money. So you pretty much had to play. It was Marguerite pretty much. So in this banned footage, it pretty much has the perspective of Clancy. The DLC focuses on Clancy and what happened to him, and this is the guy that you played in the teaser.
Yeah,
it's Clancy.
Mm-hmm.
So it follows him and his struggle trying to escape, and then it also has the mode, which is kind of like the arcade-ish mode, where you have to survive until dawn, and you have to like fight and get different upgrades and stuff like that. So it gave you a story piece DLC, and then it gives you a mini game kind of DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Because so it has the nightmare mode, and it has Ethan Must Die. But Ethan Must Die is just kind of like comical, like it's not really serious. It's pretty hard, it's challenging, but it's fun. Like it's kind of something I feel like they could have released it just for like, hey, we know people are going to stream this. This is fun, so let's make this a mode. And that's fine, like whatever. But again, like they're trying to release the whole like story and then modes that, you know, could, like I would have preferred to unlock these modes, not pay for them, more so than I've already paid like on the game. Not to mention I already had to spend $60, then wait for the refund because I had to get the standard edition because my collector's edition wasn't ready. Like, so it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But the first like banned footage DLC, whatever, you know, like I didn't mind it. It was, you know, it was fun streaming it. It worked for what it was. The second banned footage DLC covers Zoe's character. You wake up and the Bakers are normal, just normal family, and they're like, "Damn, what the hell?" Then, you know, knock on the door. It's Jack. He comes in, this little girl in his hands. He's like, "Oh, I found her out there," and it's like a storm out there. She's lost, and it's Evelyn. And so obviously, as soon as Evelyn goes in there, shit starts hitting the fan, and they start getting infected, and then you get to experience that. That was probably my favorite DLC. Was that I did like seeing the Bakers normal. They were, you know, we only saw that kind of sorta, you know, like in the flashback, but not really. Not even. It was more so of like an hallucination from Ethan. But yeah, we get to see what the hell they wanted to do with the kind of the origin of the family. So I appreciate that. But again, should I have to pay for $14.99 for it? I don't think so. And then they have there's more Clancy footage, and it's more so you play a card game, you play cards, and you're literally playing cards, and you have to draw cards, and it's like blackjack. If you get over 21, the torture device sits in the middle of you and another person, of Clancy and another person. If you get it wrong, it moves closer to you. Eventually, if you keep getting your numbers over 21, you die. There's certain cards you can draw that are power-up cards that let you take away some cards, so you can. It's like a big whole thing. So pretty much, it's Lucas who's fucking with you because Lucas sets up all those traps. Lucas is in charge of the game, and he pretty much has you just drawing these cards trying to win. So that is a one game mode that you have to survive. There's different modes you can play this on. It can be harder, but again, it's not very fun. I played it a few times after I streamed it, and I was just like, whatever. Like, it just didn't do too much for me. The actual Zoe story element was cool. So that is what we got with banned footage 1 and 2. Was it worth all of that? I don't know. I mean, it should have just been on the fucking game, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it's kind of the reason why I don't like buying games as much anymore. It's because whenever you buy a game, it's just going to be incomplete within a few months.
It's a shame that Resident Evil 7 is suffering from that symptom.
It's like if you bought Resident Evil 4 and then you had to buy separate ways and Assignment Ada.
No, you know what? If you released Resident Evil 4 nowadays, that's what would happen. That's like literally what would happen. It would be on the disc, or it would be already there, blacked out, and you just have to buy it, and then, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And, Capcom, they're, like I said, they did a good job with trying to, get themselves on the right track with this game, and I still just don't think that the whole the Lost Hero DLC with Chris Redfield, and that's another thing we'll talk about now because that's been a new thing. Chris Redfield is confirmed to be in this new free DLC that's coming out in spring. I don't know if it's next month. I don't know if it's they don't even have a fucking date for it. They just said spring.
So this is actually Chris Redfield.
It's Chris. It's been confirmed by Capcom. First of all, it leaked, but then Capcom just came out and they were like, "Okay, it's fucking Chris Redfield. Like, it's Chris." They put it on their Facebook, which is like, it's not like a spoiler, but if you didn't beat it at that point, you don't know. Like, they didn't say he's in the end of the game. Like, you could just be like, "Oh, this DLC has Chris." Like, but he's not in the actual game. But like, Chris Redfield is in Resident Evil 7 for this DLC. That's all I'll say. So with Resident Evil 7. They're saying, he's in this DLC here. We don't know much about it. We just see his new design, which, he has a new design. Have you seen this yet?
I saw him at the end of the game.
Okay. So, yeah, he has the new, setup thing, and he's, part of Umbrella. So we don't know what's going on. People are saying it's not him. People are saying it's his brother. People had all these conspiracies around this shit. I thought it was a clone, but it's not. It's Chris. So why is he working for Umbrella? I don't know. Is he undercover? I think so. But who fucking knows? I guess we'll find out in this DLC. But with that being said, the overall story is probably going to conclude with this. If we don't know what happens to Ethan after the fact and we take control of Chris, where does that leave Ethan, and where does the remaining story lead into? Does it lead into another game? Does it lead into Resident Evil 8? Is there going to be even more DLC? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that we're currently awaiting to find out. But, what are you going to do? I mean, they're going to release the DLC when they want, and they're going to release as much as they want until then. So, you got all these people saying that, Chris is, going to probably go AWOL or he's crazy and all this stuff. I don't fucking know what they're doing, to be honest. I mean, I think that whatever is Vendetta, You know, that's going to be something that just has nothing to do with this game. So whatever the Chris Redfield is in that movie is for the sole purpose of that movie. So people might try to make connections, and who knows? Like, there should be a connection between that and this, like it has, in the past. Like it has in the past, but I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. But that's supposedly coming out in the spring. So, until then, we'll talk about it, or I'll talk about it on the next show after I play it. But I figured I'd at least talk about some of the DLC on the show, considering I didn't talk about it in my review. I solely focused on the game, as I should have. So, that was the DLC in a nutshell for that.
Yeah, I have no interest in buying the DLC.
Yeah, Richard didn't have any interest, so I was like, you know what, let me just let him know the deal. So, before we get on to more news, we recently wrapped up our LP of Resident Evil Survivor, which is currently being uploaded. What did you overall think, just after everything that game had to offer? What did you think? How was that experience for you?
It was really short. I find it hard to believe that this is an actual game that was sold at full price. Because you can beat it in an hour and a half. And it makes me feel... It kind of has, a similar effect to Dead Aim, but not to the same extent, where... I mean, Dead Aim doesn't have, the same feeling as... You know what I mean? Survivor has a similar feeling as Dead Aim, but I feel like in Survivor's case... It has this feeling more so in which people actually made this. That's how I felt when I played Dead Aim, and I like Dead Aim, but after I beat Dead Aim, I was like, people made this game. This is so weird. This is an actual...
The Gun Survivor series is an episode in and of itself that we could just completely dedicate to, but it's the Gun Survivor... Dead Aim was an improved Gun Survivor 1, because that was what was it called, Lost Hero? I don't know. That's I'm saying the RE7 DLC name. It was called it was called something different in Japan, than Dead Aim. It was right, or was it still called Dead? I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, it was called something else.
I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, so Dead Aim was an improved version of that, but Resident Evil Survivor is so weird because I feel like it, again, it was trying to establish the whole okay, heroes never die. Gun Survivor 4 Biohazard, heroes never die. So I wasn't
What kind of title is that?
I don't even know. Heroes never die.
Gun Survivor 4 Biohazard, heroes never die.
Wait, so what was Gun Survivor 3 and 2? And 1 was Resident Evil Survivor. Oh, was it Dino Stalker? That was considered 2.
Yeah.
I think. The Gun Survivor series is so fucking weird. It's a sub-series of a...
And then there was that Code Veronica arcade shooter.
Yeah,
that had Nemesis. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was Gun Survivor 2.
Okay.
So that came out in November 8th, 2001. That was Gun Survivor 2.
These fucking titles are awful.
Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica or Gun Survivor 2 Biohazard Code Veronica? Why did you call it Code Veronica? Why didn't you just call it...
Why are they putting the subtitle before the actual main title?
It's just... I don't even know. That game I need to get. I need to play it. And just stream it or something. Yeah, in that combines Resident... So, 3 was Dino Stalker, and then 4 was this, was Dead Aim. And that was it for the Gun Survivor series. But, justifiably so, because, I really don't think it had that big of an audience. It just, I don't know. Dead Aim supported the PS2 light gun thing, but if you can get that working, the overall jump between games is so odd and strange. When we're doing the Let's Play, you really see it from a commentating perspective of how odd that is. like the controls are just so shit in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like so bad, and like they don't have any kind of like movement where it should have been an on-rail shooter. It should have been, but it wasn't. You can't have any kind of like redeeming factor when your controls are complete shit. You're sticking with the tank controls while trying to have this first person thing work, and you have to stop and shoot. The zombies turn you around. Everything's the same as the other games. There's no effort within the sound. It's like, what did they do? Like, at least Dead Aim, they had like, new zombies, new sound effects, like whatever. I can't speak for Dino Stalker because I never played that gun survivor game, or Code Veronica. I don't know how the design was. But what's weird is that in US it's called Dino Stalker, but in Japan it's called Gun Survivor 3 Dino Crisis.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But it's not Dino Crisis. That's not Dino Crisis.
I feel like that might just be the worst series of titles I've ever heard in my life.
Like, it says the plot. Mike Wired, a World War II era fighter pilot, is about to die in the sky in 1942.
Die in the sky.
Who wrote this? And then it says, a survivor from Dino Crisis 2 who speaks some English but is not able to speak long sentences. What? Oh, he meets Paula, who's a survivor from Dino Crisis. I don't remember that. I don't know. I don't remember Dino Crisis 2 well enough to know this character, but go on.
I was just going to say, like, Dead Aim actually feels like it has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor's story doesn't feel like an actual story.
What? But I just can't remember.
Maybe it's just the short length. I don't know, but, like, it feels so weird.
It is, because... And, shout out to Mark Main, your Ark Thompson love. But I'm sorry, but Ark is just an empty, mindless character, quite literally. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's just, in the voice acting and everything, and the kids, you don't give a shit about the kids. Like, look, like, the one thing I commend the game for is at least giving you an explanation of the island and what was there previously. I like that. Like I said, I mentioned it during the LP.
Mm-hmm.
By the time this is up, the whole LP might be posted. So, go check it out. But I talk about the files to Richard in the video.
I did like that. Like, I liked how it linked the games by having you reread past events. Like, that creates a sense of continuity. But at the same time, I also feel like it doesn't feel canonical. And I know it is, like Resident Evil 0 mentions it, and this game mentions Resident Evil 3, so it's there.
It's there, but
like, you can just never play this game and it won't ever make a difference.
No, it's one of those things where it's just kind of there, and if you play it, pick it up, whatever. But it's like the game was just there for the sake of like getting from point A to point B. There wasn't any backtracking. There was no puzzles. There's no. It's very linear.
The enemies are way too easy to take down.
Yeah, Mr. X can be taken out with a fucking pistol. A fucking pistol.
Mm-hmm.
2 full clips, like,
There's no sense of danger.
Yeah, there's no danger besides the hunters. Like, the only danger that you get is the fact that you can't fucking move when the enemies, like, push into you. And it's so annoying. Like, they can jump into you and move you. Like, they can't even do that in Resident Evil. Like, you would at least, like, stay still. But they wouldn't, like, push you aside and block you. And it's, like, almost easier to take them out and suffer with trying to deal with the crosshairs moving across the screen. But you can't even do that when there's, like, 3 or 4 enemies in one area jumping at you as soon as you shoot. Like, it just, they make it so, and it's called Gun Survivor, but it gives you infinite ammo. Like, the only thing you're getting ammo for is your additional guns, like shotgun, the Magnum you find, and then the handgun C uses the handgun ammo, or handgun B, or D, I think, or A. Well, no, handgun A is the one you spawn with. So there's B, C, and I think there's, like, D, and you find them in each like path you take throughout the game, but the paths always take you to the same location eventually. It just requires you to pick up the same exact linear items, might be slightly different, like a clock crank or whatever, picking that up and just eventually taking you to the same exact spot that you're potentially going to end up anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's really pointless. It's like you find a key and the doors are right beside the key.
Yeah, there's 2 doors. One's locked. The other one's unlocked. You go in that door, pick up the key, leave, use that key, and then you keep continuing on there. Then there's going to be zombies that turn you around. Then there's the zombies that are to your right. Then there's zombies that are down the hallway. Then there's zombies that are, you know, together in packs and groups, you know, and they all are in sync and badly animated for some reason. Because it's like... But it's like you did it before, Capcom. Like, you made everything make sense in other Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I feel like they gave this game to their Z team.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, just do this.
Like, you have your A team, your the guys who make the best games possible, your B team, your C team, and then all the way down the alphabet, you finally end up at the team that makes Resident Evil Survivor.
Yep, and I don't know who was responsible for Dead Aim, but I mean, even if it was them, they at least, you know, made something out of it. I mean, even if it was the same people who did Dead Aim, they might have learned from their mistakes. Who knows?
Survivor has like no creative monsters either.
Even the Tyrant, it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like Resident Evil, part of the appeal of it is the fact that all the monsters in most of the games look so cool and so creative. And in Survivor, you have fucking monkeys with machine guns.
Yeah.
And they're wearing tactical gear. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And you have the Lickers and the Hunters. Yeah, whatever. They're cool, but they're not modified in any way. I mean, yeah, the Hunters are in...
Same exact designs ripped from RE1.
Like, when you had the Hunters...
You didn't even take the RE3 Hunters?
Like, in RE3, they at least looked different. Like, they were different variations.
Yeah, you had, like, the frog fucking Hunter Gamma thing, and then you had the regular Hunter B.
You had the Red Hunters.
Yeah.
And, no variation in the Lickers. Mr. X looks exactly the same.
Well, here's the thing. They did have the black the Licker B. They did put them in there.
Mm-hmm.
This game loves Resident Evil 2. So, you know, it's like... It, like, made love with Resident Evil 2 and, like, had just the same exact models over and over and over and over, and the sound effects over, and a shitty menu system that's clunky and moves fucking slow, and it's a scrolling thing, and I get it. Like, you know, you could pick... It's like your inventory in this game is like an item box. So I understand that because it's like there's no limitation on what you're picking up, so it could just go into your inventory. But it's not... I don't know, it's weird and slow, and it's just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no puzzles, no nothing. It's a very bland, empty experience.
The main bad guy is dead from the start of the game.
Yeah, like the guy that they're talking up, like, in the whole thing, that Ark Thompson thinks he's Vincent, and Vincent was a commander, like, in charge of the island, and he had these slaves, you know, that they were experimenting on kids' brains and stuff, because they're, you know, using their umbrella experiments to operate on human brain to study. And if any time someone would try to escape, he would kill them and shoot them down in cold blood. And he ended up doing this with a bunch of kids that were trying to escape. As the laboratory incident in the Spencer Mansion, or Spencer Estate, kind of blew up in their faces, people started to panic, so the security levels dropped. And so when you read a file in the game, you can read it from the perspective of one of the kids trying to plan an escape route. They have everything mapped out. And they're like, if we get caught, we may die either way. Like, we're going to die no matter what, and I've accepted that. And you kind of read into that a little bit, and so Vincent finds him. shoots all of them down in cold blood, shoots them down, and he stages a mass suicide. So that's what he pretty much covers it up. But eventually, the people that are Umbrella overthrow him. They realize that he is an asshole. And, it doesn't end too well. Ark Thompson being a friend of Leon S. Kennedy. So he's sent there to be a spy. And, what a great fucking spy he is, you know? And then the game picks up from there. But that's that's literally it. Like, other than that, that's the game. Because, like, your character Ark starts finding this stuff out. He's like, what's happening to me? And he starts, like, remembering. And it's like, dude, you're just remembering. Like, he's like, oh my god, what was that? And it's like, dude, do you really think you would just completely forget who you are? And then just immediately remember, like, within hours? I don't get it. Like, you would be in some kind of coma or something, you know? Like, this guy just fucking flops out of a helicopter and immediately is like, I don't know who I am, but fuck it. And he just keeps going. It's just, it's already silly.
I completely forget what happens after this. But do you remember when you're in the room and Ark looks out the window and there's a guy and he's like, die, Vincent, die.
Yeah.
And he's shooting at you? Who was that guy?
We don't know. He might have some kind of, like, bio in the manual. I haven't looked in it yet. He has a character model in the strategy guide that I own.
Yeah.
Like, he's like some old guy with, like, a coat.
Do we ever see him again?
No. And...
because I thought that might have been Vincent when we first watched it, but I realized we don't ever see him again.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why I guess he thought he was Vincent, because of the fact that he was disguising himself as Vincent when he was talking to that old guy, remember, in the room. And so, like, it flashes, but, like, he has, like, a flashback at like towards the end of the game, the back end of the game, he has a flashback, and he was calling himself Vincent to that guy because he was obviously, I guess, incognito, and said that he was Vincent to a guy that had never met him before, even though he wasn't. So he thought he was Vincent because he was a spy, but then Ark didn't know he was a spy, calling himself Vincent, so he just thought he was actually Vincent and was a murderer. But he's like, but I can change, like, and, you know, that was his thing. And, you know, whatever.
I think the environments were decent.
The environments weren't bad. I mean, a 2000, a game that was released in 2000, you know, the PS1 was already 5 to 6 years old at that point. So, you know, it was impressive that they were able to pull off a first-person perspective, you know, like, and make it look somewhat okay. It's just the controls ruined it. Like, that's just what fucked it up, you know?
Yeah. No, it was a garbage game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... but, you know, the LP's out there now. Me and Richard had a lot of fun doing it. It was, you know, very short, but it was very fun and packed with just hilarious stuff. Great voice acting. A1 voice acting. So, claps to the people who decided to do that. I don't even know who played Ark.
Some guy.
It's just some fucking guy. Maybe one day we'll do Dead Aim.
Maybe.
People want to see it. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Because Richard has done an LP. You did an LP on that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
It's not around anymore.
Maybe we'll cover all the Gun Survivor games. Maybe I'll track down Dino Stalker. And I'll record it. See, I'm the one who's asked to do the hard work. You just gotta sit there and fucking sit on your ass and record audio with me, asshole.
Who the fuck has the balls to stalk dinosaurs?
I don't know. But you gotta do it and piss them off. So. Yeah, check that out. It's all up there now. Okay, so let's get into more news then. So that's Resident Evil Survivor. Just don't play it. Whatever you do, don't play it. Beware of the Survivor series. Resident Evil Vendetta. We saw some trailers, we talked about it last show, but now it's getting a worldwide release! Unlike the last two animated films that did not get a release, it was direct to video. And this comes out in Japan in May, but there is no US release date from what I see. I mean, the official Resident Evil Facebook page put up a trailer today, and there was no date at the end of it. But they said that it is going to be coming out in a limited release worldwide. So certain theaters will probably be, like screened certain areas, I guess. I don't, because it's saying nationwide, but in the summer. Okay, so summer. Okay, so they're just saying summer. They're not saying when. So this is kind of cool, because seeing an animated film in the theater, like, that's always cool. I saw the new Ghost in the Shell in the theaters. Yeah, now we have to deal with the new virus called the Trigger virus in New York City. We got Chris Redfield, Leon S. Kennedy, and Rebecca Chambers coming back. And, yeah, it looks ridiculous.
It looks very over the top.
Yeah, it's just, it just looks... You got Leon on the motorcycle showing off the sponsorship that they got. And, Chris Redfield just looks doped up, and I mean, Matthew Mercer's coming back for the voice. That's cool. That's great. I hope the same guy comes back for Chris. I messed up.
Do you remember that trailer?
Whatever fucking happened?
Like, they changed that so much.
Yeah. They really did. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I don't know why it crossed my mind, but...
It was way better than what we actually got.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that, too, because so we got Revelation news as well. Yeah, so the movie itself, I mean, look, me and Richard talked about the animated films before, but, I mean, I like them a lot. They're pretty entertaining. They're more action films than anything, but they're still entertaining and a hell of a lot better than Resident Evil Final Chapter or anything else that came out recently in the live action scene, but we'll talk about that next. The overall idea of this being released worldwide is cool because, people know Resident Evil. I feel like this could still do pretty well. I feel like if anything, it's going to make back its money in Japan. I don't know about over here, though. They're taking it in a new kind of like direction as opposed to what the game's doing. So the movies have always been the animated movies have always been their own thing since Resident Evil 5 was released, and then Damnation was promotion for that. So if anything, this just kind of promotes the brand itself. So releasing it worldwide is a good move on Sony Pictures' part, because I think they're the ones distributing it through the US and Japan, I'm sure. So, we're going to get that. Yeah, so are you looking forward to this? You're going to go see it if you're able to see it?
Maybe. If it's playing close to me, I might, but if it's like in a theater that's far away, I'm not going to go out of my way to see it.
Yeah, hopefully they release a statement or something telling us where we can go to like see it, different movies or something like that. Because like when Ghost in the Shell or like Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, when that was the thing.
What the fuck is that?
Resurrection F.
Yeah.
It's like it's a Dragon Ball. It was the last Dragon Ball Z movie.
Okay.
They were released limited release for a few days in theaters, and a lot of theaters around here just had the screeners in. So I'm guessing that, you know, there's going to be hopefully there's something around here that actually gets it. I'm hoping. And AMC just bought out the Carmack Ritz, so that kind of sucks because the Ritz always showed cool, unique stuff like that, and I don't know if AMC has a shit brand all over it if it's going to ruin it, but I guess I'll see. That's the kind of shit you have to deal with when local theaters get bought out, but what are you going to do? So that's Resident Evil Vendetta. We talked about it last time, but the new trailer, again, it looks pretty crazy. There's a lot of shit going on. We got a new virus, a new tyrant, again. So, you know, they don't give a shit. They're just doing whatever. So it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have a few beers and watch it.
So
that's my recommendation.
Pretty simple formula at this point.
Yeah, so Resident Evil Final Chapter. I know you haven't seen it. Nobody's heard me talk about it because I didn't do a review because I was waiting for you, but you never saw it because you're a fucking lazy dick. So, oh my god, dude, this movie.
It's the best.
It's definitely the best one. Like, I don't know if I maybe touched on it last show.
We talked about it during the RE5 stream.
Okay. But, okay, so for people who didn't watch that, Resident Evil Final Chapter, so I went to an AMC to see this. I got a gift card from Best Buy, because, like, it's like, oh, yeah, if you do this, this, and this, you can get a free gift card. They're like, all right, cool. So I did well that day. I worked, and I got a free gift card. So I was like, might as well use it for Resident Evil, because I don't want to pay money for this. So I used it and got an AMC ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So the AMC movie theaters over here have nice reclining seats, and you can sit down, lay down, you know, all that fun stuff. You know, really big ass screen, big nice theaters. So the tickets are like $15. As opposed to your regular matinee screening or even a Saturday night screening, which usually would run you like $11 maybe. So I went there with my friends. We all went there. It was cool. You know, went in, and what we saw was, I don't even know what the fuck I saw. Resident Evil Final Chapter is the epitome of just like, we just do not care, and they stick with that idea. I mean, that they haven't cared since the get-go.
Is it an entertaining movie?
Was entertained.
Okay.
But the thing is that there was a lot, the editing was not good. Like, there was a lot of fast cuts, like here, there, like all this shit, and you know, the story just didn't fucking care. Like, Chris has never mentioned he's done. Like, they didn't give a shit about him. They're never talking about him ever again. He's done. They didn't care about, like, moving along or closing up certain things. Like, certain characters were just like, you know, it was pretty much like they would set something aside, and they would pretty much just be like, all right, here we go. This is like the ending for this character. They would cut away, but they wouldn't like solve anything. Like, it wasn't like, it was like, it felt rushed for a movie that took so long to be made, you know. And it actually debuted at number 4, which is a new record of the lowest ranking movie in the series as far as box office performance. But it still made money, of course, overseas, if anything, as always. But people love that movie. But the main issue was that Dr. Isaacs is alive, because when we saw Dr. Isaacs die in Extinction, that was just a clone. That wasn't him.
Yeah, okay.
So that was like, that's the thing of this movie. And it's the cliches that just ruin it, and it's funny.
That mentality where it's like, oh, that didn't actually happen. It's actually this, and they retcon
that's all this movie is. That's all it is.
Okay,
that's it.
Just a bunch of retcons.
They're like, this didn't happen. Dr. Oz is still alive. You got, barely, like, nobody left from the original movies at all. Like, this just the fucking random ass, like, let's grab this actor or this young actor. Yeah, you want to be in this movie? Yeah. Like, forgettable faces. The only people we give a shit about are Mila and fucking Ali Larter, who play Alice and Claire. They're still cool. They're still hot. They're nice to see them jumping around and shit, all sweaty. Like, I mean, that's nice. Like, that's cool. Like, that's eye candy. You know what I mean? Like, that's nice. And that's why I'm there. Like, I'm there to see, like, chicks shooting shit. Like, I'm not there to see, like, a constructed movie. And I did not see this in 3D.
There's nothing wrong with making a movie and having it be stupid. There's nothing wrong with it. But you have to make it well.
Yeah, I mean, I like Retribution better than this, and that's not even saying much. This is by far the worst one in the fucking series.
Really?
Hands down.
Oh, shit.
It was fun. It was fun because, I mean, I wasn't sober, but, like, it was still fun, Like, and I recommend people, hey, get a few drinks in your system, have some friends, and you'll have yourself a great time, okay? But it's definitely that they did not give a shit. Like, the other movies, like, were fun, but, like, I still saw, like, some kind of, like effort in it. Like, Retribution was bad. Like, I mean, the Retribution could have been a lot better. I like Afterlife better than Retribution. And again, when I say this, I'm talking about a scale of the movies here, okay? I'm not saying out of, like, a good movie in general. I'm talking about good for a Resident Evil Paul Anderson movie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, the final chapter, like, I had fun because I would be laughing out loud with my friends when certain things would happen. And there's this girl next to me. I think she was really pissed off at me because I kept laughing so much. I couldn't help it. I wasn't even trying to like, not laugh. Like I was just like, all right, well, I was trying not to laugh, but I couldn't help it. Like, I couldn't. It was just like certain things would be said, and it was just so cheesy, or just so like the whole Dr. Isaac clone. It's like they explain everything through dialogue. Like, they explain everything. It's like what Ark said in at the end of Survivor when he's like, "You must be the blah 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 from blah blah blah," and you're blah. Like, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, like, just constantly doing this, and then, like, it's just, then they show you this thing with, like, Marcus and stuff, and how he was, like, Isaac's business partner, and then he, like, screws him over with T-Virus in the military and stuff, and it's just like a whole thing. And then he orders Albert Wesker to kill Marcus and stuff, and they do that. They try to, like, throw that in your face in the beginning. And then, yeah, it's just the Washington, D.C. thing doesn't even matter. Like, the end of Retribution doesn't even connect with this. It doesn't make sense. Like, you watch the end of Retribution, you're like, oh shit, they're in D.C., and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, back to Raccoon City. It doesn't know what it wants to be. I feel like the script was just like, I don't even know, like, wipe their ass with it or something. But so the Red Queen's back again.
Okay.
And again, played by someone else, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna help you, and blah blah blah. And he programmed her, and, like, that was his daughter, and he programmed her in the thing, and, like, you don't give a shit. And she was programmed not to hurt Umbrella employees, but she was programmed to value, like, humans and stuff. But then she helps him. I don't know. Because someone in the group that they're with, get ready for this. You'll never see this coming, Richard. Ever. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Someone in their group that they're with from the beginning of the movie is a traitor.
Oh, shit.
Is a spy. That's it with Umbrella.
Is it Ada?
No, it's not. It's just some random fucking guy named like Christian or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck his name is. It's some random douchebag. Okay, so they go back to the Hive. They go back to Raccoon City. All this stuff happens, and it's like, hey, remember this? Hey, remember the laser room? Hey, remember this? And yeah, none of this looks the same. And so Dr. Isaacs gets like, he's like with Wesker. Wesker does nothing in this fucking movie. He does nothing. He sits around, talks on the phone. I'm not kidding. Talks on the phone, drinks alcohol, and just sits there. And he does not. So, like, compared to what he was doing in the last two movies, he was just not, like, all of that just meant nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they find the person that Mila Jovovich, that Alice was cloned after. She was cloned after Alicia. Isaac cloned Alice after Alicia. So you see this old Mila Jovovich like model, which is just creepy. And it's like, that's me. This is me. Blah blah blah. Like that. This is it all along.
She was a clone the entire series.
She was a clone from Alicia.
So like Resident Evil like 1 Apocalypse Extinction after like she was just a clone.
Yep. And they're like, this is where I got the DNA from.
What is it with Anderson and clones? Like, he fucking loves clones. Like, whenever there's something that needs to be fixed, he just throws a clone in the mix.
So she's like in charge of like the system, Alicia. So she's like dying, and then she's like Wesker, because Wesker's like there pointing a gun, and Wesker finally gets to do something in this movie, and he's like above the security door.
Mm-hmm.
Wesker literally gets stopped by a fucking door in this movie, and I'm not even kidding. The door falls on him, and he's like, "Help me." And she's just like, Wesker, you're pathetic. And he's just like sitting there like bleeding out. He's like, help me. I'm like, this isn't fucking Wesker. This isn't Wesker. What the fuck? This isn't the same Wesker we saw in fucking Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
He gets stopped by a door because she says you're fired. So as soon like the system knows that he's no longer with Umbrella, so the door like falls on him because the whole interface is like connected. And so he's like happens to be under a metal, but like a door, and it falls on his spine, and he's like, "Help me!" He's like, "I'm bleeding out!" Like, and it like zooms in, and he's like panicking on the floor with his gun, and it's just like, and that's it. It just cuts away, and you never see him ever again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you finish out Wesker. And then Claire's final thing, she's like, "Alice, go on. Like, I'll handle this. Like, I'll fight him off." Never see her ever again. This is the
final chapter. You're expecting,
and this is the final chapter.
You're expecting, so I'm expecting a big final epic battle. Humans.
These are movies that I've been seeing in the movies since the first one, and I expected some fucking closure. Okay, but they weren't. Like, nobody else was invited to return. Not fucking Leon. Not Chris. Fucking Rain. Fucking Kmart. None of these fucking people. Nobody came back, and I'm disappointed. No, I don't even give a shit. But yeah, I mean, dude, all this struggle for this fucking movie, like, it just, oh my god, it wasn't, because of all those things, it wasn't, it was still fun, it was still funny. Like, you watch it, you're gonna laugh your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
If I come by in the summer, which is definitely gonna probably happen for sure, I'll make sure it does. I'm bringing that fucking Blu-ray, and we're watching that shit together, because, yeah.
God.
Resident Evil Final Chapter really didn't do anything for me as it shouldn't have, but again, if you want to pirate it, go ahead. It's coming out on Blu-ray. You could watch it. Look, that was an experience. Look, I talked about this with Richard too, on and off the air, but I've been seeing these movies forever, so it's always nostalgic to go and see them and just kind of like to view them in a different light. But I didn't do a review this time around because, again, I was waiting for Richard to see it. But even then, I didn't feel obligated to do a review. because I just did it. I was like, if I am not doing it with Richard, I'm not doing it at all, because I just didn't feel like I could have done it. You know, maybe I could go and just have a picture on the screen and just be like, hey, I did it for all the other ones, you know. I did it for Afterlife when it came out. I did it for Retribution. So I kind of feel like I should, but I don't even know, man. Resident Evil Afterlife was 7 fucking years ago, which is hard to believe. My review is still up. It was uploaded September 14th, 2010. And, yeah, like, the action scenes and stuff, like, the film looks beautiful. Like, it's a great looking film. Like, they always have a great budget. It doesn't seem, like, cheap. The movie doesn't seem cheap. It doesn't. Like, they do have a lot. I think this is the biggest budget that we have seen. But still, it's just like, dude, you don't have any material to fucking work with. You're cutting yourself short. Let alone you're not even bringing back characters that you should.
What if you just made, like, an entire Resident Evil movie where it was just them talking, and it was full of good character moments, and they were, like, charming, and kind of gave you, like, a sense of family and connection.
Yeah, because that's, like, a big thing.
Maybe you have, like, 1 or 2 action scenes, and the entire thing just, like, sprinkled in between. Characters, like, die, and you care about them. Make this the final one. Or, like, include, like, some epic final battle with BOWs and humans. Like, this is the final chapter.
Dude, there was parts where me and my friends, what even happened? Like, what just like, we didn't know who died or who, like, got strangled or fucking... There was a scene, and I talked about this on the stream, and I brought this up during streams. Alice is fighting Dr. Isaacs. She's shooting at him. And you're like, oh man, it's a showdown. It cuts to the perspective of Dr. Isaac's vision in his eyes. And it's like a Terminator kind of like deal where you see it like blinking and shit. And it has like the target acquired, whatever. And on the top of the screen, it just says predictive combat software. And with the predictive combat software, you can dodge the bullets. So he was dodging everything she was throwing at him. And I lost my shit. As soon as that popped up, I was dead. I laughed, and me and my friend were just dying in the theater. I was like, oh my fucking god. Predictive combat software. You couldn't have come up with anything else. You could, like, even with Wesker in Afterlife, you at least knew that, like, he could just dodge the bullet. Like, we didn't have to, like, see a software that was, like, installed in his brain.
You didn't even know in Afterlife why he could do that. You only knew because it was in the games.
You just knew it was in the game. Like, Dr. Isaacs, at that point, you could have done anything with him. I wouldn't have questioned it. You already pulled everything else out of your fucking ass.
You should have transformed into a tyrant.
Yeah. Like, predictive combat software. Are you kidding me? And it was so funny. And I shit you not, that's what happens. And, like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is funny. Like, they didn't look at this and they were just like, this is good. Like, they watched it and they're just like, this is hilarious. We have to put this in the movie. Like someone sat there and like made that in the editing process of the movie and was like, this is good. Like, but I refuse to believe that. I feel like they were just like, this is shit, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh man. I
don't know if I want to watch this, actually.
No, you need to.
don't.
You have to see it to believe this shit, Richard.
Don't.
Anthony. No. I'm coming over this summer. I'm going up to fucking Canada, whether you like it or not, with this movie.
No.
I don't care. Yes, I'll bring beer. Don't worry, I'll bring the beer. All right. I heard
we
Canadian
could watch
beer
a good movie.
Listen. Listen, that would be funny if we did a drunken commentary on that. You know how fun that would be? If we, like, recorded it and we're like, all right, guys, time it. Like, time the fucking thing. That would be amazing. Oh, man. The ideas are flowing. But, look, I'm going to bring the movie, and we're going to watch it. So, deal with it. Oh, my God. Look, you have to see this to believe it. You really do.
I don't know.
I mean, look.
I don't know.
It's already out of theaters, so you can't see it in theaters, but... You know, you definitely can.
That's why I didn't see it. Just because I chose not to see it in theaters.
I mean, I mean, you've seen the last few. I'm surprised you didn't want to stick with the good old Paul W.S. Anderson tradition, Richard.
I became more bitter, Anthony.
I mean, so have I, but I mean, Jesus Christ, I have a heart. No, I'm kidding. You have to just. This is just hilarious because you have to see what they were trying to throw, like, everything at this movie. Like, they were just like, all right, we'll use this, we'll use this, we'll use it. Like, even the other one, they had a chill. This movie had no chill. It was like trying to, like, change everything that made sense. Mm-hmm. Then you had the amazing fucking action scenes that were like jump cut, like 2 or 3 seconds, like. Flash to the gun, flash to Mila's face, flash to the guy getting hit, like, go back and forth, like, it was like someone spilled coffee on, like, the editing machine, and it just started chopping up, like, scenes, and it just, like, they're like, well, that's it, you know, it's good. Extinction is by far the best one. And I'm saying that not, like, ironically. Like, I think Extinction was actually pretty solid. And maybe that's because Paul W.S. Anderson didn't have any director input. Maybe he was able to get, and he didn't, because someone else directed it. Maybe, I don't know. But I like Extinction. Like, I can actually watch Extinction and be like, oh, this is pretty entertaining. Like, it's cool. I like the setting. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not, like, an amazing film, but I like some of the characters. I like the idea of the certain camps scattered around the desert, because that's literally what would happen if there was a fucking extinction thing going on, and then they shy away from that because somehow they can. Yeah. Like, Extinction made it feel like an apocalyptic movie. Like, all right, like, this is like Mad Max. I
can't think of a moment in Extinction where you laugh out loud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't laugh out loud. Like, Extinction actually had serious moments. Like
yeah, it's a pretty serious movie overall. Like,
yeah,
it definitely doesn't have any, like, moments where you're laughing at the movie because of how stupid it is. It feels pretty...
Yeah. The only time you laugh is, like, when LJ is, like, saying his shit, because he's, like, the humorous character.
Yeah, but well, that's different, though. That's, like, intentional.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, it's intent. Yeah, and, like, with that, even then, they weren't just, like... he made sense. Like, the LJ character was cool, because you're like, oh, dude, I remember him from Apocalypse, and, like, he was with Carlos, and he's, like, friends with Like, it made sense. Even though you could say, like, yeah, he was a throwaway character, like Epps' character was just throwaway, but it's like, look, it still made sense. And then he gets bit, and then, like, you know, he's like, he gets infected, and then he doesn't want to, like, even then a character like that, it was still serious. It wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna have these, like, somewhat one-dimensional characters in this movie that are just happens to be with the group.
No, like, they're all like, I mean, they're all like one-dimensional characters, but they all kind of share feelings with each other, if that makes sense.
They do.
Like,
no, they do.
Okay,
like,
so, like,
yeah, like, of course.
LJ had Betty, right? Betty was the one chick.
Yeah, that, like...
She gets killed by the crows.
Yeah, she gets killed by the crows and shit.
And
Betty!
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so LJ likes Betty, and Betty likes LJ, and before they can, like, live together, the crows come in and they fuck everything up. Okay, cool. You know, there's some emotion there. Or when the super zombies, which was actually a pretty cool action scene, they break free, and then, like, Alice gets her swords out and starts slashing every zombie. I remember watching this in the movie theater. I was like 12 or yeah, I think I was 12 when I saw that. And I remember the shot where, like, the zombie's trying to get into the car, and the girl with the shotgun, like, blew its head off, and you saw, like, the big giant hole.
Yeah, Kmart. She got the fucking shotgun, and she was like...
Yeah, like that was cool. It was a cool.
It was pretty intense when they would get overrun and like they came out from those big ass crates.
Yeah,
that Umbrella like had,
and that
and
entire
and
like
then,
action sequence was just it was tense.
And Mila had the fucking, I think they're called the kukuras or whatever. I'm probably butchering that. Those like knives.
The curved knives or whatever.
Yeah, the curved knives, and she's like, whoosh, like that's fucking dope.
And then like Claire's boyfriend gets killed, and she's like trying to shoot the zombies off him, and then she realizes
she's like, no,
yeah. By the time she
like
gets
as
up
she's
to them,
shooting, like yeah,
and she screams in the air, and it's like, okay, so Claire likes him. He's dead. She's showing emotion. She's screaming into the air.
Yeah, like you said again, like still one dimensional, but they still at least tried.
Yeah,
like you know, like there was some effort. And again, like I said,
I like the zombie makeup.
The zombie makeup was cool. It's very Day of the Dead-esque. I like that. That was so influenced by Day of the Dead. It's not even funny.
I've never seen it,
and that's
but
one of my favorite.
it's on my list.
Oh my god,
it's on my list.
You have
yeah,
to.
I know.
You have. I was going through like zombie movies, just like that I need to get, and I still need to actually get that on Blu-ray. But dude, it's amazing, and especially with Tom Savini's makeup, that's a highlight for him, hands down, the best. But yeah, Day of the Dead, and plus obviously with this whole zombie getting the zombie to talk or communicate, or
the zombie
work,
learning how to
definitely
be a
it's
human.
Bub. Yeah, definitely take it from Bub from Day of the Dead, but it's cool. It's a nice nod, and I also think that the director's input maybe had something to do with how these actors were portrayed.
No,
I feel like
the director, Paul wrote it, but
Yeah.
it definitely feels like it was directed by someone else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Paul wrote it, but he was able to get let me look up the director's name. Let me see. He was able to at least have some kind of substance to the actors. I feel like Paul's just focused on the fucking action and shit. And he's like, yeah, like, you know, Russell.
But Extinction was like, it was different. Like, you had scenes where Carlos was on the ATV and he was setting up the perimeter.
Yeah.
And they're like,
that was cool.
Like,
he sets up the cameras and shit.
All the young survivors go to bed and you have the adults who are watching over them. Mm-hmm. It's like they're a band of survivors. They're trying to get through everything. I like the scene when they're driving the truck and they run over the zombie and you hear that song start playing.
Yeah, Inagata de Vita.
Mm-hmm. That was cool. I mean, and it wasn't like, it just wasn't ridiculous in any way. Like, I mean, I guess you could say like super zombies and like swords and shit and telekinesis is ridiculous, but like it was done seriously.
Yeah, and you know, so it was Russell
Mulcahy.
He hasn't done really much since, but
he did the Highlander movie.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, look, the overall, like, and Extinction, you know, again, I've been, you know, meaning to go back and watch them again, some of those other ones, and maybe do like better.
The first movie was done seriously as well.
Reviews. Yeah, the first one was. Apocalypse is a little silly, but Apocalypse is still pretty, like... Apocalypse is very fan-servicey.
Nostalgic.
As well. But very nostalgic. As I remember seeing Nemesis in a magazine, like seeing what he looked like, and I was like, oh my god, that's him from the movie? And I had to go see it immediately. Like, no question. Like, I was like, this is based off Resident Evil 3, or 2 and 3. I have to go see this movie. Like, instantly, I remember I went that Saturday. I couldn't go Friday because I had school, but I went that Saturday afternoon with my dad. It was me, my brother, and my dad, and it was just amazing seeing, like, Jill on screen and being a kid, and you're just like, oh my god, she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
But good memories. But that's what makes the movies a little bit better in our heads as we remember them, is, you know, just the pure fact of they're nostalgic, but then it's like with this specific one, it's like they just didn't even, like they didn't even care. So, so I mean that's Resident Evil Final Chapter. I honestly just, you know, I don't know. They really just didn't give a shit. So
We should just watch
moving on.
Extinction instead.
Yeah, let's try to do that soon. We should watch some Extinction.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You know, it's actually really cool. I still have the DVD that I got for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was February 2008, and I remember me and my friends were playing Halo 3 in my living room because when I used to have my birthday parties in my old house. My old house is very small, and my room was really small, and so every time I'd have parties, we would hook up the Xbox 360 to the living room TV, and I remember playing it, and I had my friends over and stuff, and we're playing like 4-player, and whoever won the Halo match got to sleep on the couch. That was like the deal, and but my mom like came in and gave me like my gift or whatever because that's what I asked for, and I opened it and it was Resident Evil Extinction. I still have it to this day, and we watched it that night. Again on the TV, and I just remember that memory vividly about like, you know, Extinction, and I lost it when I moved, but then I found the DVD again. I was like, yes, and I still have it. It's the only one I have on DVD. I have the rest on Blu-ray, but yeah, I still have that DVD, so it's very nostalgic to kind of go back, and I might just watch that DVD specifically because it's just cool.
I feel like the Resident Evil movies, if you grew up with them, they were good, like, sleepover movies.
They definitely are. Watch them with friends, man. Like, that's what it was about. Like, it was just, you know, it's something that...
Like, you're kind of like, you're watching it as, like, a 12-year-old, so, like, you're not too familiar with horror movies, and the movies they're violent, but they're not, like, as violent or as scary as other horror movies.
Yeah,
so, like, you can just take them as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, they're like action injected, so it's like you're not too scared or anything, and you know you want to watch them, and that's why my friends wanted to watch them because they, you know, usually I was the horror guy all the time, and nobody else really ever wanted to watch anything that I would want to watch because it's just like either scary or it's just like some obscure movie that nobody would want to rent from the video store ever and watch with me. So Resident Evil was easy because I'm like, hey, this is like, you know,
the video games,
and everyone knows the video games, and at that point 4 was out, 5 was on its way, but everyone knew 4, so it's like, oh, okay. You know, so that alone, like you said, like sleepover movies, that's kind of a lost thing, but you know, the whole idea of being, you know, being a part of your youth and growing up and that being a movie to watch, it's definitely one of those movies that you get that vibe from it, and it's always just kind of fun to watch, especially that one, because that's probably the better of the 3 to watch with friends. 1, there's a lot going on. Like 2 is probably something where you could watch as well, because it has Nemesis and it's badass, it's cool. You know, even though they did, you know, whatever with them. I mean, whatever. Like, there could have been a lot better. But still, it was still one of those things that kind of capture that time period, you know. So.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that's the movies there. And, I can bring up this little topic real quick. It's not necessarily Resident Evil related, but it is, because it's Capcom related. So I don't know if you heard about this. I actually haven't even talked to you about this yet. I don't think. But so I think it was like I don't know if it was like a week ago. I think it was like a week ago. It was a Resident Evil 7 producer. But there's no confirmed thing about it. It wasn't confirmed or anything like that, anything crazy. But a producer from Resident Evil 7, you know, he hopes that, because he worked on, now this producer also worked on the 3 Dino Crisis games, and he said that he would have hoped that he said that while he had hope in his heart, he was not aware of any plans of a remaster of a fan favorite, but they brought it up. He said, I think if you were to create Dino Crisis with a modern game technology, it would be a really exciting prospect. And he said before adding, currently not currently any conversations happening at Capcom that I'm aware of. That's what he said. But, they did talk about it, and, apparently they said they have a current strategy with doing remasters, so they're very careful with what they do. But I thought that was kind of interesting that they brought it up. That they said, hey, we're not talking about it, but this guy said that he would like to see it. They haven't talked about fucking Dino Crisis in years. They have not brought it up in conversation ever, So I thought that was very interesting and strange and bizarre. But that's recently came out about that. I would love to see a Dino Crisis remaster. Just get rid of the fucking puzzles.
Yeah, they're not.
Jesus Christ.
They were ridiculous.
The game's great, but, Dino Crisis 2 is far superior. And that's a Let's Play that I'm going to be doing this year as well. It's on the list, as well as Eternal Darkness and stuff. But Dino Crisis 2 is one of those games that I got to get on. And it's a lot easier because it's a lot of action. A lot of running around arcade style. Counts your kills. It counts everything. It's counts your points and shit. It's very weird. It's a very departure from the first game. Rather than just being a somewhat Resident Evil style. This one is okay, you have and it was very strange. Dino Crisis 2 is a strange game, because that game also came out in 2003 on PC, but then it came out in 2001 in November, so PS2 was already out. So I remember when my dad bought it, specifically I remember this, he was playing it on his PS2. But it was just odd seeing it being played on a PS2, It came out just very late. It could have been out for PS2, but you could tell they just used the same engine as RE3, and, they improved it somewhat, but it was still they couldn't move the mouths. The full motion video is still what it was relying on. So Dino Crisis 3 was just awful. But, if they ever brought it back, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I think they should.
Yeah, because, just make it something different, with all that stuff. So, yeah, that happened. It wasn't confirmed, or it wasn't anything there. It's still kind of just in purgatory. But Capcom recently came out and said that there's going to be another remaster of Resident Evil Revelations. Coming out this fall for Xbox One and PS4.
So stupid.
So if you want to play this boat fucking game again, you can. This time with no co-op and the same annoying characters that you're going to forget.
Yeah, remember that trailer for Resident Evil Revelations?
Yeah, the trailer of...
Chris was tied up.
Chris was tied up, shirtless.
Jill was holding another Chris at gunpoint.
Jill was holding another Chris at gunpoint. He was saying he messed up.
Hunk was in it.
Hunk was fucking in it, because we were finally going to be able to see what happened with Hunk. And I'm kind of mad that Hunk wasn't in 7, because I'm damn, now we really don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think he's just gone. He's never coming back.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah. I don't know what happened. They never even said what happened. They just changed the whole story of Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, the Revelations one's a good game, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it again.
Yeah, no, it's... I don't know. If you've never played Revelations...
It has to be $20. Has to be $20.
Yeah, it will. I mean, it's good for people who haven't played it yet. So there's that.
Yeah, I get it. Because you know what they're doing? Because they're doing Revelations 3. They are. I'm sure they are. 100%. So they're well, now you can play 1, 2 all in the same spot. You know what I mean? It's not because it's odd, It was released on 3DS. Now the only way to play is if you have a 360 or PS3. Nobody really has those consoles available anymore, just ready to buy, because a lot of stores and retailers are getting rid of all that shit. They don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. They're gearing people up, just like how they did 4, 5, and 6 on PS4 and Xbox One. They just, they wanted it out there. They just wanted it there for the people, and then everyone will get caught up. And that's cool. Like Revelations, still it's still a solid game. You know, it's nice to play as Jill again and stuff, and you know, maybe we'll see Jill in Revelations 3.
I want a Haunting Ground remaster. I want a Clock Tower remaster. I want a Dino Crisis remaster. I want...
Bring on those remasters, man.
Yeah, like Capcom has other fucking games. And Haunting Ground is one of the rarest games you can get on the PS2. Like
I remember you told me about that game.
The weird thing is that one day, like, I have like 3 used game shops on the same block. I don't know why they're all competing with each other, but they are.
Damn.
And
as long as there's not a GameStop, they'll always be competing against each other. Well, usually like or like any kind of game store, like if it's a GameStop, like there'll never be a retro game store that opens up near GameStop. Like they're only going to compete with other retro game stores. So interesting that you said that, because that makes complete sense of why they would be on the same fucking street.
No, like there's literally a pawn shop, a retro game store, and like another retro game store.
Oh wow.
And this was so weird. Like the same day, 2 of the 3 stores were selling Haunting Ground. And they were both selling it for like absurd prices. Like over $100 for this one game. I was just like...
$100?
Yeah. I was like surprised that there were even like 2 copies. Both residing in each store. Look up those prices.
I'm looking it up. 130, 140, 120, 140, $200 with the strategy guide, 180. Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
She was actually the basis for Jill in Resident Evil 5. Yeah.
$61, the Pale Edition, though. Casper, a haunting 3D challenge for $80 came up as well for PS1. Jeez, I didn't realize this game was that rare.
There's no reason why they can't freaking remaster this game.
Why is it rare? Like,
because they never made enough.
You motherfuckers. What are you doing, Capcom? I like how as soon as I put haunting, like Ground comes up immediately in Google. Like Demento in Japan. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
In July 2012, Haunted Ground appeared to be slated for a PlayStation 3 re-release as PS2 Classic, having been rated by USB. It was released on PlayStation 3 via Japan, of course.
Yep. Not in America.
A spiritual successor to Clock Tower, although it has been awfully described or declared as such. Damn. Well, that you know, I mean, you could drop $100 easy on it, but you just really have to want to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you better be like paid by YouTube or, you know, doing a let's play, like have like a fan base that wants to see you play that game to drop fucking that much on a game. You know, it's doable, but it's still just very.
Yeah, if you had a following and you were making money, then it would be no problem.
Yeah, I'd be like, sure, I'll do it. You know, no questions asked. But yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Damn. That came out what, 2005?
Yeah.
Wow. 2005. It came out. It looks like it came out on that cusp of like old and new gen coming out, so it probably just got lost in the shuffle, and they were like, we're not making any more.
Came out after RE4.
Yeah. That came out January. So, 25th, I think. So, Jesus. I'm looking at images of the game right now. It looks like it has that, like, gothic feel to it. Very eerie atmosphere. Even the cover with the dog and her on it.
It's Jill from RE5.
Yeah. It looks like her. Looks like Julia Vault's model. It's crazy. See, Clock Tower, I've only played the first one. Which I played on PS1, and I did enjoy it from what I played of it. It takes a lot of patience, but you can get through it.
Yeah.
I haven't played Clock Tower 2 though.
I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, they're really.
But I know that Capcom did the third one.
Yeah. Which, you know, I don't know, I've heard was okay, but Clock Tower fans, you know, I mean, the whole. But yeah, because I know because people were saying because 3 got rid of the whole, like, point and click.
It was more
deal.
traditional.
It was more traditional, which is what Capcom, like, you know, obviously giving it to them, they're going to do that. They're not a point and click kind of company that would design a game like that.
I feel like Telltale would make a great Clock Tower game.
Telltale, yeah, if Telltale, if anything, should do that. But even them, I'm starting not to become a big fan of them. But, you know, that's another story. Didn't care too much for the new Walking Dead.
The Michonne game?
No, the new Walking Dead. Well, it's not called Season 3, but it's supposed to be Season 3. But, you know, guess we'll find out.
Yeah, Season 1 made me choke up.
Yeah, Season 2 is even better.
I never played Season 2.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, because what we thought was going to carry over and make sense and matter doesn't even matter. So they don't give a shit, and they stopped caring, unfortunately. So I got completely turned off to it. I thought a lot of my choices would matter. There's 2 different endings to Season 2, depending on what you did, of course, as like in true Telltale fashion. None of it matters. And just Clementine, who you play as in Season 2, you don't play as her in this one, which I thought you would. She's older, as she was in the second one, but she learned. There's just a lot of things that go into it. I'm not very happy about it, so whatever. Fuck you, Telltale. And I did like the Batman game, though. Don't get me wrong. I played that.
All the way through?
I'm on like episode like 4. So, I mean, dude, fucking awesome. If you like Batman, you gotta play that game. You have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
I'm lazy, though.
Yeah. I know you're fucking lazy, you piece of shit, but you gotta fucking play it. Well, that's it, man. We covered all the news. We talked about it. We got on for about an hour and a half, so nice little show for you guys. Next time we'll probably get some fan questions. Next time me and Richard get on here. And yeah, we're gonna just wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for all the support. You guys have been awesome. I hope you guys check out the new Let's Play of Resident Evil Survivor. Me and Richard did it. Go check it out, watch it, like it, leave a comment, do all that good stuff. Like us on Facebook. Let's Talk Resident Evil on Facebook. The link is down there, guys. You can just click it and give it a like. Be nice. Give it a like. Download this episode of MediaFire and go and just do that. You also follow me on Twitter at JillSandwich988. Okay? It's not at my full name anymore because that's just just a lot easier to just make it the same, so I changed it. So it's at Jill Sandwich 988. Please follow me on there so you know when I'm fucking streaming. And all you guys can follow me and just know when I'm just going to be on at a certain time, because I tweet out when I'm going to be there and I don't have to keep posting a video on YouTube. And it's awesome. And if you also follow me on the Facebook thing, you know, me and Jeff, we post stuff there. And Richard, with your new Facebook, I can have you as the admin thing, so you can post on there if you want. And, you know, we post stuff on there as well when I'm streaming. We're also streaming, me and Dave have been streaming Dead Rising 2, and that's also in the archive. So, go check that out. We're still streaming Dead Rising 2, so keep on the lookout for that. You're going to get notified on your YouTube notifications when I go live anyway, so you can't miss it. Richard, you could plug your YouTube account if you want.
You can find me at youtube.com/biohazard798. The official title is now Richard RE. You can watch all my old Let's Plays. Just kidding. You can only watch 2 Let's Plays, but you can watch all my old reviews. And
all his old reviews. Silent Hill included.
Silent
He's got
Hill
the
included.
Metal Gear reviews. He's got the fucking... his list. He's got his list of fucking music tracks.
Lists.
His George A. Romero script review. He still
People
has
still
up, I
comment
believe.
on that video.
Yeah, it was a good video, man.
They still comment on it. I won't sign in for 2 months, and I'll come back, and people are still, saying how much they hate the Paul Anderson movies.
Non-stop Paul Anderson. You can also check out the Spider-Man LP that we did, which is still one of my favorites. Great if you like Spider-Man stuff. If you're a fan of the Spider-Man PS1 game, maybe someday we'll do Enter Electro. If not, I'll just do it on my channel. Also check out his reviews. Like I said, he has a bunch of them. You still have the Dead Space ones up, right? All the Dead Space, you did your Last of Us one.
Yep.
So
yep, those are still up there.
Yeah, so check that out. And go subscribe and give stuff a like. But other than that, that's about it. I don't think I have anything else that I needed to say. As far as content's concerned, the Resident Survivor stuff should be up. Dead Rising 2 is going to be streaming, and then we'll just take it from there. Stay tuned for other collection updates and whatnot. Also some possible DLC streaming of the new RE7 stuff that's going to be coming out, because I have to stream that, and we're going to see what the hell's going on with Chris Redfield and his coked up ass. Next time I'll have questions. We'll get some questions for you guys. But other than that, that's it. So thanks for coming on, Richard. It was a good time as always.
Thanks for having me.
And all right, everyone, take it easy, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bye, guys.
Around every corner, behind every door, deep in every shadow, terror waits. Evil returns to the PlayStation 2. Resident Evil Outbreak. Rated M for mature, only from Capcom.